First question is, when have you last spoken to Boris Johnson?
Oh, not since he's become Prime Minister. But if he wants to talk to us, I will talk to him. And at some point, do you know what? He's going to need to, because he's made this decision that he has to deliver Brexit. He's sacked 21 of his own MPs that were effectively Remainers. He cannot win an election, whenever it comes, if the Brexit Party stands against him. So at some point, that conversation will happen.
Very interesting to hear that. What are you going to offer him?
Oh, very simple. I mean, there are parts of the country where just putting up a Brexit Party candidate means his candidates will lose. Now, if Boris Johnson makes the decision that Mrs May's withdrawal agreement is not going to be seriously amended in Brussels, that actually it's a rotten deal for the country, and that the only way forward with this is to go for a clean break Brexit, to do it, to leave, to be independent and get on with the rest of our lives. If he reaches that conclusion, there are lots of seats in the country where he faces a challenge from the Lib Dems, particularly in the West Country, areas like that. And I would say, look, Boris, we won't stand against you in those areas. In fact, far from it, we'll support you. We'll campaign for you to win those seats. But equally, I was in South Yorkshire last night, in Doncaster, areas where big Leave vote, represented by Labour MPs who are now Remainers and want a second referendum, where we're the only challenger to Labour in those areas, and equally, we would not want the Conservatives to stand there.
So how would you describe that, what you
A non-aggression pact, a non-aggression.
So it is a pact, it's a deal.
It's a deal, of course it is, and I think it's a very logical deal. If you put the support of Boris Johnson's Conservatives and the Brexit Party together, the truth is, in a general election, with a clear policy, we'd be unstoppable.
That, of course, remains to see. Also, the other thing, of course, we do not know at this point is when there would be a general election. So, for example, if it were to be, and we've had various dates bandied around, on the 15th of October, what you say stands, does it?
Of course, absolutely. And there should be a general election. We've got a Prime Minister who cannot command support in Parliament. He's calling for a general election, and unbelievably, the Labour Party want to stop Brexit and want to stop us having a vote. And I think what's going on in Parliament right now, people are disgusted by.
What's happened in Parliament this week is that the people who want to stop no deal, that is now, it's on its way to
They want to stop Brexit.
Well, that's what they've voted on, is to stop no deal, and that is on its way to becoming law. What happens if that does? It's going to become law, we understand, at least on Monday. What's the impact of that?
In the long term, zero, because no Parliament may bind its successor. You have a general election, and if a new Prime Minister says we're going to repeal that piece of legislation, we are leaving with a clean break Brexit, it doesn't make any difference. And look, Labour have promised if this legislation goes through, they will support a general election. Well, it went through the House of Lords last night. So we'll find out today just how straightforward and honest the Labour Party are.
Let's also look at other things, because there's so much discussion around all of this, and people will have very different views from all different sides, to which we've been talking to here on BBC Breakfast. The government's own, Yellow Hammer document has talked about the devastating effect.
We're bored with it all.
You might be bored with it, but some people will be concerned to hear about, the devastating effect it could have.
Shortages. Do you know we could run out of fuel? I mean, despite the fact all our oil comes from outside the European Union.
This is the government's own advice, isn't it?
It's not. It is the Remain civil service. All right, it's the Treasury, the civil service, the whole of Whitehall, the whole apparatus of state is fighting against Brexit being delivered, and the technique is to try and frighten the population. They did it in the referendum, and all the fears have proved to be wrong, just as they will be in this case.
I mean, it's not just. Sorry to interrupt you. Right. It's not just Whitehall, is it? There are people, esteemed people in this country who are very concerned about the effects.
Yeah. I'm very concerned about democracy. I'm very concerned about a country that actually developed parliamentary democracy, spread it around the world, and is now watching its democratic system being traduced.
OK, so let's look towards as well. So as it stands, and as we know that things are moving very quickly, if it becomes law, Boris Johnson the Prime Minister will have to take that to the EU. We've heard from the EU today that negotiations are at a paralysis. I mean, is there a chance, do you think, and is there a chance there can be a breakthrough, that Boris Johnson can get a deal? He's adamant that he is looking still for a deal.
Even without the backstop. the withdrawal agreement is a new European treaty, binding in international law. It is the worst deal in history. In fact, it's so bad, I could almost argue, better off staying inside the European Union than accepting a new treaty where laws could be made, judgments made on this country with us having zero say.
I know that you said to me earlier you are busy today. You are, as many parties here will be looking towards a general election. At this point, are you looking to field candidates what are you planning?
We've got 630 candidates on the approved list, vetted, raring to go. I've been out around the country talking to them today. We are ready. We're organised, we're funded, we're ready to go. But, and I'll say it again, if Boris Johnson decides that he wants to go for a clean break Brexit, we will work together with him in a non-aggression pact, and between us we'll win the election.
And you've not talked to him as yet, but thank you very much indeed, and Nigel Farage, for your time as well, leader of the Brexit Party. So we've tried to get so many different points of view here on Brexit breakfast this morning. Thank you so much for watching that, and of course we will continue to do that throughout the programme, throughout the rest of the week as well.
We will make America great again.